Well, I hope at home you can pick up this amazing atmosphere as the players come out of the tunnel. It's electric in here tonight. A huge display in the Broomloan stand from the Rangers fans, the PSV fans, of course, away in the far corner. They've been very, very noisy tonight. Who will be singing, who will be in good heart at the end of this game? It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Rangers against PSV in their Champions League playoff with Neil McCann, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
It is judgment time for Rangers as they try and exorcise the ghosts of last season's Champions League group campaign. It's where they all want to be. They want to be dining at the top table. Rangers and PSV Eindhoven go head-to-head for the second time in as many seasons for a place in the groups. Over 2 legs, and the first leg, as it was last season, right here in Glasgow. Well, you can see the blue skies above, covered mostly by clouds, but it's perfect conditions really for the game. And Rangers line up with just 3 of the starters from last year's first leg starting this one. And that is James Tavernier, Connor Goldson and Borna Barisic. Apart from that, it's a new team from the one that started the playoff last season. Butland in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter and Barisic, Cifuentes, Jack, Ascan, Cantwell, Seaman, Dessers. PSV, 6 of their starters started at Ibrox a year ago. Benitez in goal, Tez, Ramallo, Pascali and Serginho Dest, who only joined yesterday on loan from Barcelona. Veerman, Sangare, Saibari, Bakayoko and Lang either side of De Jong. Noah Lang there, brought in for a club record 15 million euros in the summer from Club Bruges in Belgium. The referee there, Clément Turpin, 41 years of age, took charge of Rangers' defeat at Anfield in the groups last season, and also their victory in the Westfalen against Dortmund in the Europa League the season before as they made their way to the final before succumbing to Eintracht Frankfurt. PSV Eindhoven are trying to win their first title in 6 years this term as they look to wrestle it from Feyenoord's grasp. Last term they spent some money and they haven't lost a competitive match since Sevilla knocked them out of the Europa League last season. It's 3-0 in mid-February. They won the other leg 2-0. They also beat Arsenal in that competition in the group stage after Rangers got rid of them from the Champions League. Just about ready to go. Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with the red tops. Will shoot right to left towards the Broomloan road end of the stadium. PSV in their change colours, their white cream shirts with the grey shorts and the cream socks, left to right as Rangers kick off. And PSV shooting towards Copeland Road in this first half. So important for Rangers that they get a good start in this one as the ball is launched forward by the right back Taze. It's a difficult bouncing one for De Jong to chase onto, and Goldson gets there before him and nods it back to Butland. He plays it short to Goldson. Across the course before on the European nights for Rangers, his long ball finds Cyril Dessers, who chases down the far side, and the Brazilian centre-back Ramallo puts it out for a Rangers throw-in, level with the PSV 18-yard line.
Just a wee indication there, Liam, Rangers will be prepared to go from back to front very, very quickly in one pass. There's a long ball up to Dessers. He's physically good, and I think that will be a ploy at times.
Cantwell robs his man, wins it back, it's inside the penalty area and almost broke there for Raskan as it goes over the crossbar. Ricocheted off the defender, back off the Belgian and over the bar for a PSV goal kick. Really good positive start to proceedings by Rangers, Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, it was, but it was incredibly slack from PSV, trying to dribble out from the back. Can't Cantwell, as we've seen him do on a number of occasions, he's always hounding people, wins the ball. He had a couple of options inside him if he wanted to look for this.
Stevie, I thought he should have gone inside. He went in
driven
the inside. I
inside.
think he should have come in.
But he had a couple of options for passes as well. He goes on his own and the shot's cleared. But yes, a very positive start.
Interestingly enough, Liam, I thought it might have been the two up top with Sima and Dessers and Cantwell in behind like they finished the game last week. Cantwell's actually going off the right, but he's coming into a 10 when the ball's over on the left, so it's a slight adaptation of the tactics.
A little bit loose from Raskan. Suter can only, under pressure from De Jong, fire it into touch for a throw-in on this near side. He's getting a couple of apologies there from Raskan, who was excellent in the second leg against Servette in Geneva last Tuesday evening. Second ball on the pitch, which Bakayoko's got rid of, so it's Jordan Tays playing it to Ramalho, to his central defensive colleague Olivier Boscali, and the Frenchman out to that left-hand side for Dest, the American international. Lovely run, he's away from Cifuentes, driving down the left, fires a really dangerous ball across the 6-yard line. It's going to come out for a throw-in on the opposite side of the pitch, but that is why they've brought him to the club on loan from Barcelona. Dest, what a cross!
Yeah, but how easy was it? I mean, he just faces up. Tavernier, for some reason, has come in narrow and left Cifuentes basically one-on-one with a full-back who's obviously lightning, knocks it past him and puts an incredible ball right across the face of the goal for Rangers. But for me, Tavernier's position was wrong in the first place.
You're spot on, Stevie, and I was perplexed myself because what Noah Lang had dragged him inside, Tavernier went as if Noah Lang was going to get the little ball fed into him, and Dessers just absolutely burned Cifuentes. It's a lot like the last week with the outside midfielders of the three. Cifuentes will go on the right and shut down the fullback, but that's a warning shot.
Ball by Cantwell on Veerman in the PSV half just left of the centre circle. 3 goalless minutes in here at Ibrox.
Definite sharp pull, 100% from Cantwell there, no arguments about that one.
Ibrahim Sangare in the centre circle. He's had it pinched off him. Sima with a head knocks it into his own path down the left hand side of the box. He goes. Sima, it's a good challenge back against him. There was Sangare helping his defenders out, having been robbed in the first instance. The man who scored the opening goal in the 2-2 draw in the first leg last season. Here come PSV though, driving forward here with Saibari. He's got it back here, having worked the 1-2 with De Jong. Out wide left, chance here for Noah Lang to attack the box. He shoots a goal, Butland spills it, De Jong gets onto it, forced wide left. Little short ball back the way for Lang. And now it's Dest, disguised ball looking for De Jong, passes it straight to Ryan Jack, down by his own byline, over to the corner flag for Tavernier, who's under some serious pressure. It breaks Cantwell's way, and now it's with Cifuentes. He's had it nicked off him though by Dest. Here's Sangare sizing up the Rangers box, just playing it short forward to Johan Bakayoko. He elects to pass it back along the deck to Dest. Here come PSV again, loose ball from them though, straight to Suter, but he's given it away, but Cantwell wins it back in double quick time of Bakayoko. Cantwell over on that right hand side, trying to get away from his man. He's done really well, squeezes it through to Cifuentes, just inside the PSV half, forward to Dessers. Little touch from him, kind of lets him down, he gets back onto it, he goes down, and referee Turpan gives Rangers a free kick midway inside PSV territory, right of centre. That just relieves the first real spell of pressure from PSV Eindhoven in the match. 5 minutes in, 0-0.
Yeah, Dessers actually does well in the end up there. I think that's going to be a key for him tonight, and when the ball goes up to him, because at times he's not going to have the support around him either in the 2-10s with Cantwell and Sima. He needs to hold it in better. Cantwell did ever so well there. He bought time because there was nothing in front of him, and his composure has allowed Rangers to get up the field, but it's been a breathless, 5-6 minutes.
That counter-attack from PSV was absolutely lightning. They're going to need to watch that, Rangers, when they're overcommitting.
Theo Dessers scored against PSV when he was at Feyenoord on loan from Genk a few seasons ago. Smarasic clips the free kick in, comes off the head of Dessers. Goldson goes for it, Ramalho beats him in the jump. There's an optimistic appeal for a penalty from the Rangers supporters behind the goal there as Raskan beats Lang to it. It's now with Tavernier, he's given it away though as James Tavernier, and it's picked up here in the midfield for PSV Eindhoven, and the ball's flipped out to that left-hand side by Pascali, but given away. Raskan for Rangers, now it's with Cantwell, back to Raskan, looks up ahead of him, looking for
really
Sima. He's clipped it with the right foot to Sima, left of the D at the edge of the box. The overlap from Barisic, low ball across, comes off the defender, and it falls kindly for Walter Benitez in the PSV goal. He holds on at his near post, and it remains 0-0. But what a start!
Yeah, it's back and forth, isn't it? It's really going at 100 miles an hour. It's not settled down. It was really good from Raskan there. Sima, I just wanted to see it going 1v1, but Barisic on the outside. I'd love to see Todd Cantwell then get into the back post and not hang around 18-yard box. I thought Raskan could have made that yardage up. It's really important that when they get into final third positions, Liam, with Barisic and Tavernier, that Sima and Dessers make up the box, but one of the other midfielders must get in there just to create more numbers, more ratio to score.
When Barisic picked the ball up, he was in a good area, but he lifted his head and only had Dessers, so he was making a run across the front post. There was not another option for him. You've got to get more bodies in the box.
Ramallo sweeping it right to left to the centre circle for Pascali. Down that left-hand side for Noah Lang, the record signing in the summer. Tavernier gets there just as the ball down the line was targeted for Serginho Dest. It's out for a throw-in to PSV, midway inside Rangers territory over on that far side.
Yeah, he's rapid, Liam. I think that's going to be I was saying about Tavernier might be able to expose Noah Lang, but if he goes inside and he leaves Cifuentes out there with Dest, Rangers could have massive problems because he's electric.
Chance here for PSV. It's Saibari out wide right for Bakayoko, level with the penalty spot, left foot cross comes in, smashed away on the volley by Tavernier. Dest tries to take it down over on that left-hand side of the central area. Now comes to Saibari, he's going to get it back. Oh, really good block there by Suter as De Jong tried to flash it back into the path of Saibari. It remains goalless. PSV looks so dangerous though, particularly coming down that left-hand side as Neil was highlighting. Their manager down there, Peter Bosch, has won here a couple of times in recent seasons. He was in charge of Bayer Leverkusen when they won here in 2020, just before the lockdown, and then he came back here with Lyon in the Europa League a couple of seasons ago and won that one as well. So it's a 100% record as a visiting manager here at Ibrox. The PSV boss, it was Ruud van Nistelrooy against Giovanni van Bronckhorst this time last year, of course, the two former Dutch teammates. As Dest picks up again wide in the left, support from Lang, up against Cifuentes, gets away from Cifuentes but knocked from Tavernier, but he loses out to Noah Lang, and it's passed back the way to Joey Veerman. Long ball forward, will come all the way through to Jack Butland, and it will remain 0-0. We're approaching the 9-minute mark at Ibrox. Here's Connor Goldson, side foot ball forward, finds Dessers halfway line. Sima is on this near side, flicks it out to Sima, the unknown Brighton man. He's got the overlap from Barisic. Sima uses him as the decoy, low ball in field, square to Cantwell, first time back to Sima, now with Jack, right footed out to the left hand touchline. Barisic looking for Cantwell, blocked by Taze, and Cantwell can't keep it in play as it goes out for a throw into PSV Eindhoven on this near side.
Should have done better with that one, Cantwell. I think he was almost trying to just get ready for a drag back. The ball was still in play and he just seemed to
I tell you
lose possession of it.
Sima, I don't know what you think, John, but I mean, he can clearly run and he's rangy, but sometimes when he picks the ball up, I think he doesn't gain control of it quick enough.
I know, I think he's waiting for Barisic. He's waiting for Barisic to overlap him. That's what he's wanting, but actually you're right, just go. He receives it in space, just go yourself, go and make things happen yourself. You don't need to always use that Barisic outlet.
PSV won it back with Bakayoko. He's deep inside his own half, got it back from Sangare, and the clip ball forward up towards De Jong. He does win it in the air, but needs a Rangers player up into the air, more height than distance. It'll break back favourably for Connor Goldson, who's over on this left backside really, and he rolls it back to Butland inside his own box. He clears with a right foot across the halfway line. It goes, killed in the chest by Pascali, and his next touch is to turn it out to Dest on the left, just shrugging off Sima. Dest then chops and peel away from Tavernier. How good's he been in these early exchanges? Up the line for Lang, and the challenge from Goldson, and out for a PSV throw-in.
Yeah, I mean, he's very robust as well. He's come through a couple of challenges there. He doesn't look like an out-and-out fullback, does he?
He does not. No, I was going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah, he's got feet of a winger there.
He looks like a winger, 100%.
One game in League One tonight, incidentally. Falkirk leading Stirling Albion local derby 1-0. Spencer goal on 11 minutes. here in the Champions League playoff. 0-0. Jordan Tays for PSV, flashing it out to the right-hand side. Bakayoko up against Barisic onto the left, dropping the shoulder. Raskan meets him. Bakayoko on the turn, and eventually comes back to Barisic in his own box, and he puts it out for a throw-in on this near side. They'll know each other, Nicolas Raskan and Johan Bakayoko, the two young Belgians. So that goes out to play for a throw-in on this near side.
He's just so desperate to get onto his left foot all the time, Bakayoko, isn't he? Even though he's playing on the right, he's always looking to chop in and feed a cross into the box or a pass square, but he's got pace. He might be served better just going down outside the odd time.
He was an unused sub in both legs against Rangers last season, Bakayoko. He's gone on, though, to win 4 caps for Belgium. An assist in his debut against Sweden, European Championship qualifiers. The PSV number 11 out on this right flank. Throw in Rangers, level with their own 18. Barisic over it. No goals as yet in this Champions League playoff first leg. Up the line, flicked on by Sima. Cantwell goes for it, won back by Sangare, and he returns it to his goalkeeper. Benitez playing it to his left for Dest. As I mentioned earlier, only arrived at the club yesterday, straight into the squad. The left
seems to have settled all right, eh?
Yeah, hasn't he just? Couldn't get a game at Barcelona last season, so he's on loan for the campaign in Eindhoven. He's certainly started really well for the visitors. It's Pascali, plays it short to Sangare, and now it's Ramalho, who played both legs last year. He's also come up against Celtic in Europe 4 times with Salzburg. Lang picks up from Dest down that left-hand side, midway inside the Rangers half. He's found Lang in the overlap, moves in field, lovely touch into the box, shows too much to Tavernier, who goes down. Rangers play on. Sima, 3 round him, he's lost out. Dest has it back, but gives it away to Raskan, knocking it forward, looking for Sima, read by Tays, who clears out to that far side.
Again though, Liam, Sima just not really having control of the ball. It's as if his mind's seeing things before he's even got it under control. He just needs to relax a little bit, get the ball secured, and then go and commit people.
Here's Saibari, low ball to the edge of the box for De Jong. Rangers under the cosh here. Saibari right-footed, cross to the back post, headed behind for the corner by Tavernier. There will be some duress on the Rangers rear guard here. 13 and a half in. And PSV have their first corner, in fact the game's first corner, over on that far side. Stand side.
Rangers have started the game fine. You know, you can obviously see that PSV have got real pace and danger within their side, but they've not really opened Rangers up yet, and Rangers have looked threatening when they have got into their final third.
The Dutch have had 70% of the early possessions. The corner comes in, it's a little header from Sangare which he doesn't catch, and it goes behind. Well behind, actually. He's ended up flicking it towards the corner flag on this near side, but any kind of purchase on that, and Rangers are in big trouble.
I'm sure he scored one similar where he just runs off of someone. I tell you, I think he's on it, and his hands across his face because he feels that that's a really, really good chance for him.
Cantwell, first time ball out to Barisic, wide in the left, approaching the halfway line, across he goes. On this left-hand side, Sima ahead of him, decides to turn it back to Raskan. And then back into his own half for Jack. Look, it might open for Sima there, perhaps.
Do you know what?
He was going into an offside position.
Liam, I want him just to stand, just to put the brakes on. Just go and then put the brakes on and let Barisic bounce him. And then if the fullback goes to him, Barisic can go in the overlap. If he holds his position, he just gets 1v1. He's running into nowhere there.
Goldson, long ball, looking for Sima. Again, he might have just gone a little bit too early. It's headed away by Tays. Here's Raskan collecting on the near side, flicks it infield for Sima, but won back by Bakayoko. And Tays, who boots it off a Rangers player now for a throw-in to PSV on this near side.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Neil, it's the position you played in when you were playing. He's playing this evening. Sima, to me, it looked like he ran himself into a position there, but he wasn't going to be able to receive the ball from Raskin. And Raskin's looking, going,
exactly,
I need better movement from you. And then the crowd got on Barisic because he's had to check and pass the ball backwards, but actually had no option because the winger's movement wasn't good enough.
Yeah, well, Tez is just, he can see the movement as well, so he's just covering the run, so it's going to be a big foot race, and he's not really going to gain any advantage. So if he goes long and just checks shot, then he gets it to feet, he'll be able to face the full back up.
PSV knocking it about pretty confidently though. It goes back to the goalkeeper Benitez, out to Pascali, charged down by Cantwell. He's trying to get the crowd involved. Some more over there. He's waving his arms and hands around to try and get the fans on top of the situation. It's going to be a PSV throw-in. Dest will take about level with the edge of the D of his own box. Over on that left-hand side for the visitors. Bold into the midfield. Jack pinches the loose ball back into his own half for Barisic. He goes back to Suter. John Suter striding forward, rolling it out to this near side for Barisic, under pressure from Bakayoko. Turns and plays it off him, and out for a Rangers throw.
Big John Suter's good at that, Liam. You know, he's prepared
you
to
need
drive
that
in.
though, don't you? You
Yeah,
need that in the modern game. But even back in the day, you always needed your centre-half to make those kind of driving runs.
Well, sometimes if you're under immense pressure and you're cutting across someone, you'll draw a foul and you get yourself out of pressure, or if you're good enough, you step in, commit a midfielder. The key is then is to find one of your teammates and don't get caught in possession. You get caught in possession in the midfield area, it means there's a gap in your central defence. But Big John is, I think he's shown already this season. There's been times where he steps in there and he's really composed.
There's a few of the Rangers players rested at the weekend as the long balls pinged forward towards Noah Lang. Got in behind momentarily there, but combination of Tavernier and Goldson do enough to win it back for Rangers. It's picked up by Barisic, long ball up to halfway. Down goes Dessers, fouled by Romalo just on the halfway line, and that'll be a Rangers free kick. And it's 0-0 at Ibrox, 17.5 minutes played.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he? He's just backing in and feels the contact, goes to ground, gets his team 40 yards up the pitch. But that one just earlier, the ball over the top from Sangare. If Lang had taken a better touch, he might have been in.
Sima collects on this near side, level with 18. Poor ball though, he's giving it straight to Saibari. That's not going to do many favours with the fans here. A little bit frustrated after that as Falkirk go 2-0 up against Stirling Albion. A Callum Morrison penalty. Svensson and Morrison the goal scorers. Falkirk 2, Stirling Albion 0 in tonight's League One game. Kicked off at 7:45. It's an 8 o'clock kick-off here at Ibrox. 18 in. It's PSV doing the attacking with Bakayoko down the right of the Rangers box. Left-footed ball back to Taze. Now with Lang, who's popped up on this near side. Decides to side-foot it back to Romalo. Into the midfield. He sweeps it out to the left for Dest on the touchline. And Saibari's out there now. Plenty of interchanging going on between the front players of PSV. With the skipper De Jong leading the line.
Yeah, he's the one that's pretty constant, Liam. He's staying through the middle at all times, occupying the two centre-backs, but Noah Lang in particular is getting some freedom. And Dest is going through as an inside left.
It's a chance here for Saibari down the left-hand side of the Rangers box. Level with the penalty spot, rolls it infield to Dest, trying to look for some space. Rangers put the block in though. It's won back by Cantwell over on the far side. Jinking around, looking to try and shrug off a couple of players. He goes down, and the referee gives Rangers the free kick midway inside their own half over on that Govan stand side. Touchline here at Ibrox, 0-0.
I'll tell you what, he does well, does Campbell, because when he receives that ball, he's not got any options other than probably just a hopeful punt up to Dessers. And he manages to hold on to the ball for, say, 4 or 5 seconds to try and draw in pressure and eventually wins the foul. But it has been something that I've noticed that at times when Rangers are on the ball, their options aren't great off the ball for them, and they're getting caught the odd time on the ball.
Suter at the edge of his box, under no pressure, squares it to Goldson. He goes back to his goalkeeper. Butland takes a touch, looks up at the pitch and smashes it forward with the left foot. Dessers, Romalo, I think he's just had a little arm swing out at the defender there. The referee spotted it. Romalo's on the deck inside the centre circle. Cyril Dessers. He's certainly caught him with the back of the arm. Was it the elbow?
Yeah.
That might well have caught Romalo. Is back on his feet now. It's just a word of warning from Monsieur Turpin, who's in charge tonight.
I suppose I can't really comment. I probably would have done the exact same thing, Neil.
I'm just waiting on you having a go at the boy. You didn't know I was going to jump in.
No, I was worried that he'd actually caught him worse than he had. He hadn't. He was just trying to block him off with his arm. Nothing wrong with that.
Roll back by Dest to Pascali. Left of the centre circle, pings it onto the chest of Bakayoko with a big switch over to the right. Under pressure from Barisic, toes it back to Taze. Infield for Sangare, it goes back to Romalo. And And he squares it to Pascali. Forward to Sangari in the centre circle. Right-footed ball out to the left. Here's Serginho Dest again. USA international just steps in field, squares it to Sangari. Showed too much of it to Raskan, but enough about him to find Taze just when it looked as though he was going to surrender possession. And here come PSV again down the left-hand side. Dest getting it from Lang, looking to drive it across, looking for the corner. Goal kick though is what's been given. It come bouncing off Goldson. It must have come back off the PSV player. Dest from behind for the goal kick, and it stays Rangers 0, PSV 0. Michael Beale down on in his technical area, right the edge of it.
As much as Rangers started the game well, and you know they were getting up into PSV's final third for the last
been pinned a wee bit,
10, 12, 15 minutes, they've not really.
There's a chance here for Sima. He's got away from the defender, he's inside the box. Desser's in the middle, he goes himself, and it's a comfortable save for Benitez at his near post as Sima tried to profit right hand side of the penalty area. He head down, drove forward, had the ball at his feet, elected to go for goal himself, and it's a pretty simple save.
Yeah, it was Ramalho had the situation under control, but then slipped on the turf, which allowed Sima to go clean through. His first touch takes him a wee bit wide, and then the angle's very difficult for him to get the shot off. But as I was saying just before that, I feel as though Rangers are struggling to get up the pitch, and we're wondering whether they were going to go direct at the start of the match and then try and work their way up the pitch that way. That hasn't really transpired because they've been locked in a wee bit by PSV.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I think Seaman's been out of sorts for the first 20 minutes. So no, he had a good chance there, but we can't well playing almost as a front three rather than in the 10. I think it's allowing them a wee bit of comfort to go and press the ball in the middle of the pitch, because Sangari can just he can screen Dessers, and then when in possession of football they can get a man overload in the middle of the pitch. But I tell you, the one thing that Rangers don't have in their favour, as you said, rightly said, Dest has just come into this side, Liam. There's probably been little or none in terms of homework done on the boy. Don't know what he's like, so they're almost trying to kind of work it out in-house, in-game play, about how quick the boy is, what he does, what's his relationship with Noah Lang. I know they wouldn't have a relationship, but already they look as if they've got a bit of a...
It certainly looks more dangerous down the left than it does on the right with Bakayoko, purely because he keeps cutting in the pitch into trouble. But both rapid down that left-hand side, both actually very similar looking players.
Yeah, comfortable on the ball.
Dest, he's got 26 caps and 2 goals for the USA, and played at all of their World Cup matches last year, including their last 16 defeat to the Dutch. Jack keeps it in play, but only to the benefit of Jordan Taze, who's driving down the right-hand side of the Rangers box, looking for the cross, cut out by Barisic, and out it goes for a throw into PSV on this near side. And there are times when perhaps you just let the ball go out of play.
Yeah, or just
that was one of them.
Yeah.
Sangari back into the centre circle for Ramalho. Appears to have shrugged off the earlier knock with Cyril Dessers. And as Lang back to Pascali, left of the centre circle, steps into the Rangers half. Forward to Joey Fairman, who's been relatively quiet in these opening 24 minutes. Long ball from the goalkeeper Benitez. So far, Rangers have completed 53 passes. PSV have completed 165. That's where this game's sitting at in the stats right now. PSV with about 70% of the ball. Saibari at the edge of the Rangers box. Infield to Bakayoko. Back to Saibari. Back to Bakayoko. Little back heel to Saibari again. Shuffles onto the left and loses his bearings completely. And he fires it a good few feet wide of that left-hand post. But that opened up beautifully for PSV Eindhoven, and they created it themselves, just little give and goes at the edge of the penalty area, and it was Saibari, the Moroccan, who let fly, but it was a poor effort in the end, and it stays Rangers 0, PSV 0 as we approach 25.
Yeah, it's a poor effort, but his little dip of the shoulder just sent Barisic down the line, and then he went inside and played the 1-2 with Bakayoko. But I mean, he's a player I remember from last season. They've been a real threat. He's sort of playing in a 10 position, but he's got the ability to drift from that 10 position out to this right side. When he does that, then Noah Lang comes in. So there's a real freedom of movement, but Rangers have to start getting a grip of the game and getting into higher areas, making PSV defend, because as it is, as Tom has pointed out, they're controlling the lion's share of possession and territory.
Cantwell for Rangers, out to Tavernier. Rangers doing some attacking this time. Level with the edge of the D of the PSV box. Tavernier looking for some support in blue and white. Gets it eventually from Cifuentes down the right. He's found Cantwell level with the penalty spot. Drives it off the defender. Bouncing ball headed away by Pascali. Back up into the air off the knee of Cifuentes. Tavernier in the box, can't make it work, but Cantwell wins it back over to the far side, but gives it away in double quick time. And Noah Lang has it infield to Sangare. And then Veerman forward to Bakayoko, and suddenly PSV are 3-on-3 here. Bakayoko driving down the pitch up towards the edge of the box, shoots for goal, and Butland holds on. Good goalkeeping. Bakayoko certainly caught that one. And Butland holds on. 26 in, Rangers 0, PSV Eindhoven 0.
It's just another example of how quickly they can counter-attack, and they leave numbers up the pitch. They're not afraid to do that. The whole Rangers midfield was wiped out from that one pass. I actually felt as though Bakayoko could have done better. They had 3 up there, he had 2 options, but his head was down, he was thinking about the shot, but on his favoured left foot. It was a decent strike, but straight down the throat of Jack Butland. They'd probably be disappointed that they didn't make more of that situation, but it's just a wee warning to Rangers that if you're going to have everybody ahead of the ball there, then when the ball gets broken down in a transition, you're under P.
Rascan for Rangers in the PSV half, goes back the way though. There's Jack to Cantwell. You can hear the simultaneous groaning every time Rangers pass the ball back. Here they are coming forward though, down the right hand side. Tavernier gives chase, Dest gets there first. Down in front of that pocket of PSV fans. Tavernier puts enough pressure on to force Dest to put it out for a throw-in to the hosts with Cantwell after it was taken quickly. Poor ball into the area, cleared by Pascali. As Goldson heads it down that right hand side, and it's headed clear, picked up by De Jong. Left of the centre circle, works it back to Veerman, forward to Saibari. He's got a runner in Jordan Tays, the full-back on this right-hand side. He's at the right angle of the Rangers box, looks up, it's a clever ball in, and headed behind for the corner by Connor Goldson, with Luke De Jong waiting to smash it home behind him. It stays Rangers 0, PSV 0.
Yeah, a wonderful cross in from the full-back. It's just first time as well, shaped in there, beautiful cross. De Jong thinks he's maybe just going to walk onto that, but fair play to Connor Goldson. John Shooter's across the front post, and there was Connor Goldson just making sure that he's central just to clear up the danger. He'd
have probably rather that it hadn't just gone a foot past his own post.
Yeah, I know.
I think he got it a wee bit square, but it cleared the danger. It was good defending.
Joey Veerman will take the corner out, swinger with the right foot in the main stand side. It's allowed to bounce in the box, but it skips away to safety, relative safety. Ryan Jack under pressure from Lang, who pinches it back off him. Noah Lang, really good play from him. He goes down. It'll be a corner at the least, and then there's a little bit of afters between Ryan Jack and Noah Lang. Just in the wake of all that, I think it's actually gone behind for a goal kick in the end up, but there was a little bit of afters between Ryan Jack and Noah Lang, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, it's right up Ryan Jack's street, that. There was a bit of physicality, there was a lot of pulling of the jerseys. You see, Noah Lang's actually got a big hold of Ryan Jack's jersey, and then Jack gets a hold of his. It's when they go to the floor, Jack stands over the top of him, tells him to get up, and then Lang has a little kick, but I mean, there's nothing in it for me.
Nah,
absolutely not.
Nothing for me. It was a right good tussle. Jack does well to hang on to him because he's very, very quick. If anything, it would probably be pulled back for a foul for Rangers for Jack, for the jersey pull was the first action. And
I like the fact that Jack got touched tight and was not prepared to let Lang get his foot on the ball and shape him up, because that's the last thing Ryan Jack would have wanted, because Noah Lang is very good at going both sides, would have committed him into the penalty area.
Remember last season's first leg was actually pretty even across the board with things like shots and the other statistics in the match, but this has been weighted in PSV's favour so far, albeit Sima did manage a shot and target earlier for Rangers. Tramalo with the left foot back to his goalkeeper. Benitez at the edge of his box, short to Pascali. Into the midfield it goes for Veerman, Dutch international, stepping away from Desser's good play. Then he decides to switch it back out to the left for Serginho Dest. It's under control, and he's got a little bit of space. If Fuentes trying to close him down, short to Lang. Lang then back onto the halfway line for Pascali. To Veerman, out to the left-hand side it goes again for Dest. To Lang, and then one back by Tavernier. Got in the way of that pass and gets it back from Cantwell over on the right-hand side, level with the edge of the centre circle in the PSV half. It goes over the line though for a throw-in to the visitors. We're at the half-hour mark here, 0-0.
Yeah, can't get up the touch, Liam, sorry. Tavernier's looking up there, he's got Dessers, but he's got he's got 3 or 4 PSV jerseys surrounding him.
They don't give you a lot of time in the ball.
No,
that's something I've noticed as well. They're
really
very quick to press
and hunting packs,
yeah.
Stevie, so they surround your passing options. That's when Rangers need to get the head up quick. One pass to set and switch to the other side. It's set up for Barisic, particularly down that right side, because they hunt over there really, really well. That should be a set-up. Michael Beale and his coaching staff should be watching that. So in the second half, if that presents itself, have a little bounce pass and just ping it to the other side and open them up.
Malo under pressure from Sima, goes back to his keeper. First time from Benitez to the left for Pascali. Chips it down that left-hand touchline for Dest. It was a difficult one for Dest to deal with. Comes off Tavernier though and out for a throw-in to PSV over on that far side. Neil, if you're Michael Beale, what are you thinking right now?
I think they're reasonably, Michael Beale's reasonably pleased. I don't, as Stevie said there, I mean, De Jong, I think it was Noah Lang had a shot, but Butland maybe spilled, and then the one from Bakayoko. But other than that, it's been reasonably comfortable. Listen, they can 3 times Rangers passes, but if they're not really hurting you, it's okay. I think it would look a little bit tidier from Sima in particular, Cantwell, when they're in good areas. But just now they're not clicking yet, but they've not found a groove, Rangers, and I think that's purely down to the tempo that Ajax, PSV are playing at.
Saibari, De Jong's in space as well. Saibari attacking the box. He decides to shoot, blocked by Goldson. That pings out onto that far side for Dest. Rolls it in field for Pascali, left of the centre circle. And then back into his own half for Romalo. You're listening to Sports Sound this evening here at BBC Radio Scotland Extra on 810 medium wave on digital and online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. Champions League playoff first leg, Rangers 0, PSV Eindhoven 0. The rematch. As Veerman plays it to De Jong, just inside the Rangers half, back to Sangare, first time ball, flashed out to the left for Lang, 3 in PSV colours in the middle, De Jong's one of them, low ball for De Jong, plays it off Jack, who did really, a Suter rather, who did well to slide in and block the attempted low ball across by De Jong at the expense of PSV's latest corner.
Yeah, really good covering from John Suter. Goldson gets dragged to Noah Lang. Tavernier caught inside the pitch again, but that's due to the movement of PSV, but John Suter across, really lively.
In comes the corner, Butland holds on, good clutch in the 6-yard line, he'll be happy with that one. The goalkeeper having made the save from Bakayoko earlier on as well.
Liam, I was talking about Rangers shape, and Cantwell sort of playing off the right, Seymour off the left, and Dest is through the middle. That's probably set up to combat the fullbacks of PSV going forward, but it's not really worked, and I think it's something that...
Romalo under pressure from Sima, and it's going to go behind, I think, for a corner here only. Rangers first of the match, that all came from Sima, harassing Andre Romalo into the error, and Rangers have their first corner of this Champions League playoff.
That's twice Romalo, the same players, had problems. This time Sima chasing a kind of hopeless ball, if you like, putting him under pressure. He does have a tug on Romalo's shoulder. I don't think it's enough for him to go down, and in the end he kind of panics and slices it out for a corner kick for Rangers.
Tavernier to take. Top scorer in the Europa League 2 seasons ago as Rangers went all the way to the final. And he's going to take this corner on this main stand side at the Broomloan Road end. On to our left, Tavernier, in front of an expectant crowd at Ibrox. And it comes from Tavernier, it's a deep one, it's a relatively comfortable take for Benitez, the goalkeeper, though one of his defenders in his way, he gathers at the second attempt and pulls it out to Joey Veerman midway inside his own half. He's having to twist and turn and burrow his way out of trouble there. He eventually side foots it to his left for Serginho Dest down the line. And a chance for Saibari to find Lang down the left-hand side. They've gone from one end to the other in a flash here. Lang's cross way too high and over the bar. And that'll be a goal kick to Rangers, and it will stay 0-0. He's won the corner. Noah Lang, he's actually started his PSV Eindhoven career off superbly well. He missed the victory over Vitesse Arnhem at the weekend with injury. He was an injury doubt for this first leg. And he scored a couple of goals in his first couple of games, including the clincher in the Super Cup against Feyenoord inside their own stadium in De Kuip in Rotterdam, before scoring against Utrecht in the opening week of the Eredivisie, having made that €15 million move to the Philips Stadion in the summer. As the throw-in is bowled back the way. PSV with a 100% start to the campaign, having beaten Sturm Graz in both legs of the previous qualifying round to this, the third qualifying round, as Rangers were beating Servette. Those 3 domestic successes so far. They won their back-to-back Dutch Cups last season as well. PSV, as the yellow card comes out for James Tavernier over on the far side. You heard Neil in the background there. It was clipped forward towards Lang.
Super
he was
movement.
brought down.
Really good movement, Liam, honestly, brilliant. Watching a little spin here, look. Just goes and spins in behind. Tavernier's getting tight because Noah Lang wants the ball to feet. He's so talented and great control and gets 1v1, but he just spun him there. Tavernier too tight.
That's not ideal.
No, it's not, particularly because that's been the main source of threat for me down PSV's left side.
Yeah, you've seen Bakayoko now and again on this side, but you're right, it's the combination play of Dest and Lang and Saibari helping out both wingers. To be fair, he's on this side now, but that's gone out for a throw into Rangers level with the edge of the centre circle. We're in the final 10 minutes, in fact the final 9 minutes of the first half here under the lights at Ibrox, and it's a throw in to be taken by Barisic down this left hand side. It's headed out for a throw in by Taze. Barisic now level with the edge of the centre circle in the PSV half on this near side in front of the watching PSV manager Peter Bosch. Barisic pulls it, looking for Dessers. The big long leg of Sangari comes out to win it back for the visitors as De Jong meets it first time on the halfway line, pressing it back to Lang. First time ball out to Saibari on the near side. Now Bakayoko to Saibari again, midway inside the Rangers half. Back into their own territory for Ramalho to Sangari to Ramalho, and he squares it to Boscali. Square ball for Ramalho again. Taze wants it out wide on the right, gets it in defeat now. Being met by Abdallah Sima. Infield to Sangari, lovely 1-2. Bakayoko back to Sangari, back to Bakayoko. It's brilliant build-up play by PSV. Sangari has it on this near side, up against Raskan, into the midfield for Veerman. Little chip ball out to Bakayoko on the near side, controls it, rolls it infield to Sangari. The Rangers fans getting frustrated because PSV are well and truly on top here. They're dictating the ball, weaving it around this playing surface. It's now out wide left with Dest, down the line for Lang. De Jong's in the middle. It is a low ball across, and Butland holds on at his near post in his 6-yard area with De Jong lurking, and it stays Rangers 0, PSV 0 as we tick on to 38 minutes. But this has been a difficult period in the game for Rangers, this one.
Yeah, I mean, PSV's possession of the ball's been brilliant at times to watch. Their passing, on that occasion they worked it from one side of the pitch all the way over to the other. That combination again between Dest and Lang, the ball get fizzed across the front post. I felt as though De Jong could have made more of an effort to get across the front than he did, but thankfully for Rangers, Butland there to kind of scoop it up round about the 6-yard box. But yeah, PSV, their quality of passing, their quality of movement off the ball is far superior to what Rangers are offering.
Just a moment ago, Liam, I was just talking about if Rangers can get a set-up pass to switch. It happened there, didn't it? And Raskin just unfortunately handled it, come off his elbow when he tried to control it. But it's certainly an area Rangers could expose PSV, because they are getting really shifted across in the game. Particularly the wide boys come inside, Noah Lang comes inside, Bakayoko on this side. It's something that I think they might get joy out of in the second half.
PSV are bossing this game like they didn't boss it last year here. It was a more even match. Jackson trouble. Here's Saibari moving towards the Rangers box now. Rolls it to the overlapping Dest. Little chip ball comes off the defender. And PSV Eindhoven have another corner over on that left-hand side. This is their third of the evening.
Yeah, unfortunately for Rangers, it's just been kind of waves of attack for the last 10 minutes or so, even longer than that. The bonus for Rangers is that so far in the final third, that killer pass or the killer touch hasn't quite been there for PSV, and they've managed to kind of ride this period out. But whether or not they can sustain that for another 45 minutes in the second half.
Another 5 minutes of this one. The corner comes in, it's cleared at the near post by Sima. It wasn't a good delivery, and Rangers get it away, but it's going to come right back at them here, you suspect. Taze right to the centre circle, long ball. It's poor though, so you look for Lang, who gives him the thumbs up anyway, but it sails into touch for a throw into Rangers over on that right hand side, to be taken by the booked James Tavernier. Gets it back from Jack, digs out a ball down the right. Dessers gives chase. Pascali gets there first though, and now Dest down the line, and PSV have it back. Switch of play from Veerman. Now it's Taze. Loads of space to operate in here. Rolls it to the right of the boxer. Bakayoko steps onto the left, and then his attempted cross. It's cut out. Saibari has it. Seema battling with him, trying to win it back, and he's done well. Seema is back in possession for Rangers, but Saibari reacts and wins it back for PSV and redeems himself, having given it away in the first place, and goes back to his goalkeeper. Final 5 minutes of the first half. It is 0-0, and this is a tough old watch for the Rangers supporters. You can hear them in the background when they don't retain possession.
Yeah, I tell you what's difficult though. See, when good players work hard, what this PSV team are doing, it's going to be a tough night. And that's when the fans are letting Seema know that when he stopped there, when he get bounced off the ball by Saibari, he just stopped. That's unacceptable to these Rangers fans. You have to put an output out.
A foul on Romalo. They've taken a free kick. They don't care the fact that their defender's still in the ground in pain. They attack the Rangers box. Des to the left hand side. He's found Noah Lang, who rolls it back to Veerman. Veerman on the turn away from Cantwell, and then Veerman switching it to Taze on this near side. Taze recently managed to get himself into the Dutch national side, as Veerman did. It's a brilliant turn by Sangare. He's just taken Raskan right out of the game. He finds Saibari, he finds De Jong, but it's an overstretch from De Jong. It comes off his boot and right back to Jack Butland, and it stays Rangers 0, PSV Eindhoven 0. But they're probably looking for the half-time whistle at this point, these Rangers players.
Yeah, I would say so, Liam. I would say so. I mean, I'm just looking at Dessers there. I'd be interested to know how many times he's touched the ball in this half, and it's not necessarily his fault, really, because Rangers have been so reluctant or found it so difficult to get up the pitch. But he really mustn't have touched the ball too often in the game, an actual centre forward.
Honestly, Liam, at half-time, if Kenny's listening, we'll get in a wee bit of tactics, because Rangers need to adapt here, because they're getting murdered down this wide side now.
Here's Lang, right-hand side of the box. He finds Taze early, low ball in, no takers. It's still alive though, pulled back and cleared by Goldson on the 6-yard line. That was just needing someone in PSV colours to get in the end of it, and it's 1-0. It stays 0-0. What a ball across it was. The Rangers just seemed to leave it. Here's Taze on this near side. Short ball to Sangare. This is the one playoff first leg that hasn't got a goal tonight so far. Bakayoko picks up on the right-hand side, teasing Barisic into the box, shoots wide of that near post. He's looked for the top right postage stamp corner, couldn't find it, goes behind for the goal kick. It stays 0-0 on 43.
Yeah, we're right behind that there. He's going in Barisic's right side, which is always going to be weak on his turn. It's not going to be a strong. We're right behind it. It's always going wide for us, but I'm not sure Jack Butland knew that, but they're starting to wind it up now. I was talking about that left side for PSV being really fruitful out there, but Taze is getting some amount of room, and it's because Raskin's getting dragged into Sangare. It's then getting popped out to Taze, and he's getting a free run to put balls into the box. They've really got to get a grip of the shape here, Rangers. They're really suffering.
3-0 Falkirk at half-time against Stirling Albion. It was a Ross McKeever goal, made it 3 before the break. In League One, rearranged because of Stirling Albion's cup duties last week. Here's Cantwell down the right for Rangers, across the face of goal. Dessers is being howled at here because the Rangers fans feel he should have driven into the 6-yard area to get onto the end of that. Instead, it went across the face of goal with no takers.
I would have to agree that that's what he should have done. You know, you see that the winger, or in this occasion it was Cantwell, got to the byline. He's going to flash it across the gap between the 6-yard line and the goalkeeper. Dessers had pulled out slightly.
Rangers win it back here with Dessers inside the box, pulls it back towards Raskan. Seema shoots, goal!
Oh, what a finish then!
It's an absolutely thunderous finish from Abdallah Seema, who gives Rangers an incredible lead here. PSV Eindhoven have bossed huge spells of this first half. Cyril Dessers latched onto the loose ball, pulled it back to Seema, who sends a wonderful, bending, swerving shot into the top right corner in the final minute of the first half to make it Rangers 1, PSV Eindhoven 0 in this Champions League playoff.
Well, it just comes from PSV trying to overplay from their goalkeeper into the centre half. He gives it away. The ball breaks kindly for Rangers right to the edge of the box. And there is Sima, who's not had a good half at all. But this is an incredible finish, right into the top corner, showing a lot of composure and talent there. And you couldn't have seen a goal for Rangers coming.
No, it's certainly not from Sima. As you said, he's not at the best of halves. It's a difficult night, but I'm telling you, that is world-class finish. Benitez can dive all he wants for that because he's just a spectator. But it comes from Raskin jumping. I've been saying about him jumping when PSV are in good positions and control of the football. They weren't there. He jumped, he created the pressure, and when it came back to Sima, what a finish that is. There's pace, there's accuracy. I mean, it was just precision stuff.
We're into 1 minute of injury time or stoppage time at the end of the first half. Dest goes for goal, it's blocked, and Rangers, who at one point there would have been quite happy to get in at 0-0, now desperate for the half-time whistle. 1-0 up they are. Saibari though for PSV, low ball from the right-hand side towards De Jong, is cut out by Suter and cleared, and that is the half-time whistle. And what an end to the first half that was for Rangers, and in particular for Abdallah Sima, who exploded a stunning finish into the top right corner to give Rangers the lead here and edge them perhaps towards the Champions League groups again. Came from absolutely nowhere. PSV have had so much possession, so many passes, 326 completed passes. Rangers, by contrast, just 83. But it doesn't matter, it's about putting it in the net, and that's what Sima did. Butler made a couple of saves up the other end, but that magical moment from Sima in the final minute of the opening 45 of this playoff is what's given Rangers the edge against the Dutch Cup winners. Half-time at Ibrox in this Champions League playoff first leg is Rangers 1, PSV Eindhoven 0.
Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
Goals absolutely flying in across Scotland.
Across goal it comes, must be it!
A season of action and reaction.
We'll be joined by fans of various clubs. No doubt, plenty of talking points.
If they win football games, no one will care, right?
A season of banter and laughs.
So the finish for Theo Bair, I thought, tidy. Can he meet Van Veen's target?
And it all lives here.
The pundits all gave us their predictions. I think Willie came out on top.
I don't believe it.
Catch the action this weekend.
A huge moment in this game.
Every kick of the ball across the season.
Scottish football lives here. BBC Radio Scotland.
And this evening we are live from Ibrox. Incredibly, Rangers lead PSV Eindhoven by 1-0 in their Champions League playoff. Abdallah Sima with an absolute screamer on the 45th minute. That after fairly constant pressure from the away side. They look very, very tidy. So many good players, so good in the ball. Fantastic movement. Rangers were struggling to get up the field and have any impact on this game, but that goal from Sima, who hadn't been having a good first half, you'd have to say. His touch wasn't great, his confidence looked to be going, the fans were on his back, but right in the stroke of half-time, he made himself a hero here, Tom English. This has been an incredible first half.
That's surreal. You know, I mean, I think everyone, obviously, in the stadium was overjoyed, but I think utterly shocked as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the quality of the finish, as the lads were saying, was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. The quality of everything that went before belonged to PSV. They looked so slick, without creating cutting chances. The quality of what they were doing was class, one touch, two touch, slick, quick. It looked like Rangers were just hanging on. They were doing well to crowd them out. At the back, they were defending well, denying PSV chances, but not denying them possession and territory and all the rest of it. And then this goal just literally drops out of the Glasgow sky. I mean, I'm genuinely shocked. But what a finish.
We all are, and what incredible scenes when that goal hit the back of the net, Stephen Thompson. I think shock, bewilderment, but real quality from Sima. As I was saying, that he hadn't been having a great game.
No, he hadn't. I think he struggled down this left-hand side. I think you're right to point out he looked low in confidence. A couple of occasions where you wanted him to go and run and commit a defender. He was kind of turning back. He hadn't really been involved. But then you only need one moment in a match, and the goal kind of came out of nothing, really. But PSV trying to overplay. They've been caught doing that probably on about 2 or 3 occasions. It's what they do. It's what you see the top teams doing. But if you get your press right, and Rangers did have good pressure on at the time, you can break that. And when the ball rolls back to him, what is he, like 19 yards out on a pretty tough angle? We're sitting right behind it, and he just curls it expertly right into the top corner. I did not, as I said in commentary, see a Rangers goal coming, because after the decent start that they'd had to the match, they have been camped pretty much in their own half, and it's been wave after wave of PSV attack and PSV possession, and Rangers have had to try and absorb that. I thought if they get in at half-time at 0-0, then, you know, try and rearrange a few things and you'd be reasonably pleased with that. However, to go in at 1-0 up now, it gives them something massive to try and hold on to. Get a clean sheet in this next 45 minutes, and then you've got that advantage to take over to the Netherlands next week.
I give the Rangers fans a lot of credit, half an assist for that goal, because just a minute before they were on Desser's case. He wasn't allowed to the cross, looked flat-footed, looked a little bit lazy for their liking. Well, when the moment came, he was very much alive to it. Hustles, I think it was Sangari out of it, and lays it off, and lo and behold, the ball is in the back of the net. So, yeah, well done the Rangers fans.
His layoff actually takes a wee deflection.
What is it?
It takes it into the path of Sima, which was the fortuitous bit. But actually, you've got to go and press, and you've got to go and make your own luck. And they did that, and you're right to point out, because there was once when Sima didn't do it, and Dessers didn't do it, and here, believe you me, if you're not chasing lost causes and you're not looking like you're absolutely busting a gut, then this support will not accept it. And these are 2 new players. They will learn that very quickly, because nobody wants to be getting pelters off the fans. But you're right to point out, on that occasion they did, and they got the result from it.
Neil, I love when you guys talk tactics. We'll do that in just a minute, but we must show appreciation for this PSV side. At times, they're an absolute joy to watch.
Well, you can see why Bosch before the game was pretty bullish in terms of what his side are about. Good in the ball, good football inside, confident coming to Ibrox. They did dominate possession. Just looking at the stats, almost 3 times the amount of passes. They played 362 passes, 328 of those have made their mark. So they're a good side. I think the freedom of movement they've got when Noah Lang comes in. Sabari, he sits in the 10, and when he vacates that, it allows Noah Lang to roll into that 10 position. It frees up Dest out in the left back position, and it was a main source of threat for PSV. But it got to about 25 minutes, half an hour, and what was happening, Kenny, was that Raskin was then starting to jump, because Sangari was starting to control a little bit of the central midfield area, and when he was bouncing, Taze was getting on the overlap, and it was giving Barisic a problem, because he's getting sucked in the back of Yarrow. So there's so many moving parts of this PSV team that are giving Rangers. Sorry if I just said the wrong name there. Sorry, I'm away in a wee flow of tactics. Leave me alone, Tomo.
Keep going. I love the tactics.
So the point I'm making is, if you're playing with a central striker of Dessers, and Cantwell sort of playing to the right and Sima to the left, it's really there to guard against the fullbacks getting on easy possession, but they're playing slightly in narrow, so the fullbacks are almost, in particular Dest, standing out on the left wing area. So if that's not going to work, you have to combat the midfield area, because what they're doing is Jack's sitting central, Raskin and Cifuentes are then being asked to bounce to the fullbacks, and it's too much for them, because when they go, the wide players are coming inside and they're getting so much of an overload, Kenny, and it's hard to paint a picture when you're just talking quickly, but I'm seeing things, and it's giving them real trouble. Although Rangers are in it, they're 1-0 up here, they can't just expect that this PSV team will continue to play like they did in the first half and not test Butland more. They will, because the quality has to come through.
Has Michael Beale changed anything throughout that first half? Did he do anything to counter it?
I haven't seen it just now, but the good thing is he's sitting in there 1-0 up.
Yeah.
And he can look at that. He did it last week. He was able to change the tactics, because the same thing was happening, if you remember. The fullbacks, particularly right side, were bombing forward, and he adapted it by getting Cantwell in the 10, and then that allowed the 2 wider midfielders of the 3 to bounce, because when the wider midfield, Cifuentes and Raskin, bounced to the wide area, Cantwell dropped into a central position, so they weren't getting outmanned in the middle of the park. So it worked really, really effectively, and he's already proved, Michael Beale, is an astute coach, the beauty is here that they're 1-0 up. They might have surrendered possession, they might have surrendered to maybe a better, sexier footballing side on the night, but they're 1-0 up. That's a really good position to be in.
Talk to us about Dessers, Tomo. What do you see in him as a striker? Where do the problems lie? Is it confidence for you right now?
He's been starved of service for a start, and you know, I've played that role a number of times as a lone striker when you're playing against a better team that have got tons of possession and you're feeding off scraps. But you've just got to do that, and you've got to show the right application when the ball does come to you. Chase lost causes, try and get your team up the pitch when you can. He is, you know, a bigger player than Danilo, that's for sure, but I'm not entirely convinced he's a target man type player. There was the one occasion when the ball got flashed across the box by Cantwell. I felt as though he could have burst himself to get in there, and the crowd kind of maybe felt that as well. It's a difficult game to judge him in, because when you're having so few touches of the ball, it's difficult to make an impact in the game. He had an impact in the goal. It was actually Raskin who went right in on Singari, chased him a good 15 yards, anticipated and put the pressure on him. The ball then broke to Dessers, his cutback takes a nick, and then Sima puts it in the top corner. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect Rangers to play further up the pitch in this second half, so I really do feel he'll still be starved of the ball. I wonder whether Rangers will say, like, we've got this 1-0 lead, can we actually sit on it? We've managed 45 minutes there without conceding. All right, we've not had a lot of the ball, but really you've had the long shot from Bakayoko, or his Bakayaro as Neil likes to call him.
That's his middle name.
And unforgiving, Neil, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, it's a long night though, Kenny. and I tell you what, when I'm doing sports scene on Saturday night, I'll be just waiting.
I can't wait, I'll record from that.
Hey, it's just good to get my own back, because I make mistakes all the time, and you're sitting there with your wee smirky face on when I do them, and that's on telly. So anyway, right, but yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to be too critical of Dessers right now, because he's been starved of service.
Talk to us, Neil, about John Souttar at the back. He's been immense tonight, hasn't he?
He's been really, really good. I think both centre-backs at times have covered each other really well. There was an occasion where it came out to Taze on the right side here. I think it was Taze, and as the ball get flashed across, John Souttar as a centre-back has to be across the first post. It's really important then that you're tagged in with your other centre-back. There's a relationship to make sure that he's immediately behind you for the striker coming into that area. Goldson did that. The same on the other side. When Goldson went short, got dragged out of position, there was John Souttar covering. But he's good on the ball. We spoke about stepping in, it'll be important. Listen, they're going to come under some heavy pressure in the second half, I feel. Bosch looks like a type of manager, it doesn't settle for mediocrity. I think they're playing at a good tempo, PSV, but I really do believe that they'll take more risk. I think he'll ask more demands of the front players in particular. I don't think there's any necessity for Verman and Sangari both to sit, so he'll ask one of them to get in touch. That'll place more demand on the central midfielders. But I think John Souttar, after a really difficult start into a Rangers jersey, you know, coming, picking up a lot of injuries, I think is looking really, really good. And I'm so pleased for the boy, because he's been through so much trouble, but he's looking like a good partner there for Connor Goldson.
Yeah, the pressure in this second half is going to be incredible, Tom, isn't it? The quality that PSV have got, you just know they're going to carve out probably 4 or 5 really good chances.
Well, you'd have said that, given the amount of possession they had, the amount of passes they had, the amount of class they showed, that would automatically transfer into really good chances, but it hasn't really. I mean, Rangers have defended very well. They've crowded them out. They've kind of scrambled defence has been very, very good. Block shots from distance. PSV, for all their class, haven't had too many clear-cut openings, if any, actually. So will they come in the second half? Possibly. They're good enough to do it. Absolutely good enough to do it. Rangers' concentration levels, I think, at the back have been very, very high. Discipline has been good, apart from the early Tavernier yellow card. You began to fear for him at that point, with Lang mumming down that left-hand side. But the discipline and concentration have been excellent, and then the goal arrives, and I think we're all still a little bit in shock about that.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Neil. And we experienced Rangers in the Champions League last season. They were outclassed, and you can see the step up here tonight, can't you, from being against Servette. This is a real high-quality team. This is going to take an exceptional performance in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fans will play their part. I mean, it's a very special ground, Kenny, and it can have serious effects on opposition players. I've no doubt, as Tom said there, I'm pretty sure that the fans played their part in that goal. The good thing when Raskin jumps, he's jumping in a good area onto Sangare. As I try to point out, sometimes he's jumping in a central area and opening up the wide position. But it's so important that the distances of this Rangers side in this second half are closed. They don't try and they're not encouraged to go and, like Dessers or Sima, go and press on his own and leave spaces in between, because this is where this outfit are really, really dangerous. I think you'll see that the compactness of the side will be good. I think Michael Beale will encourage them to stay connected, and if they can do that and try and hit in the break, this is where you might see little Danilo coming on, his pace and his sharpness. Maybe for Sima, we said that he didn't have a great first half until he comes up with that absolutely world-class goal. That might energise him, but the ability to hit in the counter-attack might suit Rangers in the second half.
You know, a lot of these Rangers players wouldn't have played in Europe, or some of them wouldn't have played in Europe for Rangers if they didn't understand the power of this crowd when things are going your way. They understood it when the ball hit the back of the net, because the roar for that goal was something else.
The Rangers team are now out. PSV have been out for a minute or so. An incredible atmosphere here at Ibrox this evening. Liam gave you an update earlier on from League One. Falkirk 3, Stirling Albion 0, Spencer, Morrison and McIver with the goals there for John McGlynn's side. But our main focus, of course, tonight is in this Champions League playoff. Somehow Rangers had their noses in front thanks to a wonderful goal from Abdallah Sima. Can they hang on? Can they take an advantage to the Netherlands next week? We shall find out in the company of Neil McCann, Stephen Thompson and Liam McLeod.
Rangers continuing this fantastic goal-scoring record they have in home European matches. They've only failed to score in 3 out of the last 31 European home games now. Slavia Prague, Lyon and Napoli all emerged with clean sheets, but they've scored at least once in the other 27, including this one this evening, or 28 as it is now. As PSV prepare to get the second half underway. No changes for either team. French referee just having one last look at his watch, gets it started, blows the whistle, and PSV in the white-coloured cream tops with the grey shorts go right to left, shooting towards the Broomloan. And Rangers in the blue shirts, white socks, or shorts, black socks with the red tops, moving towards the Copeland Road end in the second half, as they tend to do. The ball slipped through towards the final third. Jack Butland reads it, comes out to the edge of his own box and clears. As Sima, the hero for the Rangers supporters, driving down that left-hand side. He'll be absolutely buzzing just now. Shows too much of it to Ramallo, but he's put it out for a throw into Rangers up the pitch over on that far side.
But it's what he didn't do in the first half, and you can see how energised he's been from that goal. It's the first time he's opened up his legs and took his full-back on down the line.
Throw was taken. Cantwell helps to the right-hand side of the box for Tavernier. Cifuentes back to Tavernier. Goalkeeper makes the save. Rangers were almost in for a quick-fire second there, as it's booted to safety by Sangare into the centre circle. What a start to the second half that would have been when you consider how they finished the first. Free kick PSV inside the centre circle. Meantime, as Saibari has his legs taken from him.
Yeah, there's a wonderful little 1-2 there. I just wonder whether there was a little tug in the jersey on the arm, the left arm maybe.
What a save
on James Tavernier from Dest, is it? But I tell you, it's a really good save. I wonder, Tomo, I think you would have stuck the big head in that, would you not?
Yeah, probably would have gone on my head. I was thinking that at the time, but actually when you watch that replay back, he gets a good connection on it, does Tavernier. The ball's kind of sitting about waist height. The goalkeeper's only a foot away from it. He manages to, incredible reactions, flick his arm out and clear the danger.
Long ball for PSV towards De Jong, one in the air by Goldson, flicked away by Jack into the centre circle, but it's met by Sangare. He heads it to his left for Veerman. Pascali manages to work it to Sangare. It's played to the right-hand side for Taze down the line. And there's an opportunity for Bakayoko, who goes down. He's going to win the free kick as well. It's over on that far side touchline, a bit level with the edge of the D of the Rangers box. And the yellow card is out for Borna Barisic as well.
Yeah, that's both fullbacks now on a yellow card. Cynical. Bakayoko just too quick, takes a nice touch with his right foot and just shifts it with the left.
Chances for PSV, they've loaded the box. They brought Pascali and Ramallo up for this one as well, the two centre-backs. Rangers with Butland in goal, Tavernier, Goldston, Suter and Barisic, Cifuentes, Jack, Raskan, Cantwell, Dessers and Sima. That is how they started the game, it's how they start the second half. PSV free kick over on that far side. The feet from the touchline. Veerman, Romalo attacks it, and he kind of flicks it back out to this left-hand side of the box. He stayed down inside the 6-yard area. Dest keeps it alive, crosses in, Butland commits himself and clutches on with both gloves, and it stays 1-0 to Rangers on 48.
He just seemed to lose his balance in there, did Romalo. He makes a good run into the box, just gets caught under it, and when he lands, that's the problem. That's why he stayed down. Just jolts his groin.
It's a good chance. He
missed times to jump a wee bit.
Yeah, he just doesn't hang long enough, but he got a run inside Dessers there. Rangers going zonal marking from a wide free kick like most teams do now, but with that zonal marks, it's really important that you cover the space between and in front.
Bakayoko attacking the box, right hand side of it, rolls it back to Saibari, he shoots, blocked by Suter. They'll break to Noah Lang here for PSV. Left hand side of the Rangers box, now level with the 6, down towards the byline, dancing into the box, winning the corner off Tavernier. Good positive play by Noah Lang for the one-time European Cup winners, PSV Eindhoven, under the legendary coach Guus Hiddink when they did so in the late 80s. Also UEFA Cup winners in 78 as well, PSV, as the corner comes in, but it's way too close to Butland, who holds on to it again with both hands, and Rangers maintaining their 1-0 advantage in this Champions League playoff.
Commanding on cross balls, isn't he? Don't want to tempt fate, but he's really good for a centre-back. It's just brilliant. Your eyes light up when you see the keeper coming, and his decision-making is good.
Pascali down this near side. Cantwell goes down as if he's been caught. As Lang plays it back away to Serginho Dest. And play is going to stop to allow attention to Todd Cantwell here. Seemed fairly innocuous. Cantwell wasn't the man in possession as he was caught. The guy's getting a chance to see a replay. It's just, I think he's been caught in the follow-through from Pascali's clearance.
Yeah, if anything, Cantwell's kind of filled in, but he's come in kind of a fraction late, just as the defender was clearing the ball. Maybe just get caught with the follow-through, a wee stud on the ankle. Should be okay.
This is the 5th time these two have been drawn together in UEFA competition. The 8 previous meetings, Rangers have won 4, PSV 1, the other ones were drawn. 3-2 Rangers last year in aggregate, of course. Cholak scoring in both legs. Tom Lawrence, if you remember him, he's not stripped tonight. He was on the bench in the League Cup tie against Morton at the weekend. After a timid first half performance, Rangers lost the previous meeting to that 1-0 at Ibrox after a goalless first leg in Eindhoven back in 08-09. And the tie before that was much more memorable as they swept them aside in the Champions League groups. I've got the name McCann written in bold black letters in front of me. Scored the 3rd in the home game against PSV.
Well, I don't know what to say again, Liam.
Not again. Game's back underway here meantime. Cantwell's back on his feet, seems to be moving around okay. It's collected by Romalo out to the right-hand side for Tays, just toes it away from Raskan. But Jack gets onto the loose ball for Rangers, but he gives it away as well. A little bit sloppy from both teams. Bakayoko collecting out wide on that right-hand side against Raskan, who does well to win it back. Terrier-like from Nicholas Raskan. Here's Dessers driving forward into his stride, runs into Romalo, bobbling ball, breaks Joey Veerman's way. He plays it to Tays, who sweeps it back to the edge of the D of his own box for Pascali, who turns it to this near side for Dest. No ball in field for Pascali, switching it to the right for Tays again. Back to Romalo. The walking pace for PSV. Rangers now have something to cling on to. A 1-0 lead given to them by Abdallah Sima just before the break. But here come PSV. Down the left, Dest has found Lang. Loads of space. Been closed down by Goldson. He does really well. Blocks the cross at source and puts it out for a throw into PSV Eindhoven on this near side. Read that superbly well.
Yeah, it did, but Tavernier get dragged right in with Dest there, and if that's going to happen, then Cifuentes must go with the runner on the outside. Otherwise, if Tavernier just stays there and lets the ball go wide, just don't encourage big spaces in behind you.
Down the right with Bakayoko of the Rangers box, taking on Barisic. Cross comes in, Barisic with a challenge, goal kick given. Can back off the PSV player last. The young Belgian over on the right-hand side. for the visitors. Peter Bosch down there, their coach, arms folded, steely faced. He's been here and won twice before as a manager, but he looks a little bit perplexed down there. Perhaps wondering how on earth his team is behind in this game.
Yeah, but for all their dominance on the ball, Liam, creating chances have been at a premium for them. Really, they've not really managed to force Rangers too much into working Jack Butland.
Yeah, Barisic having to do some defending down by the byline though, as he knocks it out for a throw in the PSV on the far side. They were 1-0 down to Vitesse Arnhem at the weekend at half-time. Eventually turned it round and won 3-1. They'd equalised by this point though. They were level within 3 minutes of the restart. As the goalkeeper Benitez fires it out to this near side for Dest, under pressure from Cifuentes. The Rangers fans liking the press from their players. They're not giving PSV an inch. And that's gone out off Cantwell for a throw in. Again, Cantwell waving his arms around, trying to get the crowd involved.
Yeah, he likes a wee bit of that, doesn't he? I tell you though, I have to compliment him, because the press is ignited by him. His decision making on when to commit and when not is the reason why Rangers got into a very, very good position.
Good play by Jack, finds Cifuentes, back to Jack on this near side. Over by the touchline to Tavernier. Now Cifuentes, right hand side of the box, is crossed though. Takes a touch off the defender and the goalkeeper holds on in the 6-yard line. And on 54.5 it remains Rangers 1, PSV 0.
Really good play from Ryan Jack. It looked like he was going nowhere there, but manages to pop away.
Here's Saibari up the other end though. Bakayoko charging on the right, lays it back to Saibari, time to pick his spot, and he shoots over the crossbar. What a chance it was, just inside the penalty area. He looked up but he leaned back and it goes over the bar and it stays 1-0 Rangers.
Yeah, Ryan Jack does unbelievably well to get back
where
in.
He was, you know, he'd just been up the other end of the pitch. It was a lightning quick counter-attack from PSV, and the man putting Savari under pressure was Ryan Jack, who I was just saying down in this right-hand side. Looked like he'd gone nowhere, he had no avenue to get out, but managed to pull off a 1-2, work it into the box. Unlucky of Cifuentes when he tried to smash it across the face, and it just deflected into the goalkeeper Benitez's arms.
Well, sometimes, or most of the time, I think the teams like to have the deciding leg, the decisive leg at home. The Rangers have come through 4 of the last 5 ties that they've seen them play at home first. Against Red Star and Braga in 2020, PSV last year, as we were discussing earlier, and Servette in the last round. The only reverse was against Bayer Leverkusen, who were managed by the current PSV boss at the time, as Pascali loses out, but the referee sees that as a free kick on him in the centre circle. Looked relatively soft. This is one of, not just UEFA, but FIFA's top referees who's here tonight, Clement Turpin.
Yeah, I can't say I saw too much in it. A foul on Veerman.
Rangers win it back. Lascan got in the road of his countryman Bakayoko. Here's Jack, out wide left for Raskan again. Passes it back to Barisic, who in turn goes back to his goalkeeper. Short ball, Butland to Suter, sweeps it up high into the Glasgow sky, drops down onto Cantwell, but he can't control. Veerman picks it up.
From Tavernier.
Yeah, try to thread it through to Lang. Tavernier gets in the way. Given away by Cifuentes, who I think's been on the periphery of this tonight. He's not really got involved.
Agreed.
Here's Lang, infield to Singari, who loses it. Cantwell collects, and then he gives it away. Here's Saibari, and then Cantwell will be yellow carded because he's just had a cynical trip out at Saibari, and that will be the 3rd Rangers player into the book. And Cantwell just letting his frustration boil over there, having given the ball away really cheaply. He is the 3rd Rangers player in the book, and he joins Tavernier and Barisic in the yellow card stakes here. And PSV have a free kick around about, what, between 25 and 30 yards from goal. It's pretty central, and it's in an attacking position, Neil McCann.
Yeah, it is. That you touch on there with Cantwell, he's got caught in possession of the football. He needs to release it. Cifuentes, you're absolutely spot on. I think he has been on the edges of the game. I think Rangers have been guilty of trying to bounce it quick the first time, rather than just taking control of the football. I think that's why PSV get themselves in so many good positions, because when the ball goes into 10s or midfield areas, they're confident enough to take control of the ball. But this is an opportunity for PSV. I mean, I know it's quite a distance out.
Well, we shall see. Joey Veerman's lining it up, right-footed. He's gone for goal. Butland pats it away behind for the corner. Diving to his left. PSV corner. Butland tested. Perhaps if that goes in, he's disappointed, so he's got to make the save, but it was there to be made.
Yeah, it was a fairly standard save for him in the end. I mean, Veerman gets the accuracy right, but there wasn't enough pace in the ball to really test Jack Butland. He made no mistake with his clearance.
Swinging corner for PSV Eindhoven. It's been taken low to Tays. First time ball looking for Ramallo. Goldson's strong against him. Sliced clearance by Cantwell. It's still in his area. Golson nods it away, but he's being pushed at the same time. And that's going to be a Rangers free kick just to the edge of their own box, which they're trying to take quickly, but it was taken from nowhere near the scene of the crime.
25 yards further up the pitch from the foul.
Tell you what, a big header from Connor Goldson there. PSV took the corner shot. It wasn't a brilliant ball into the box, but it could have been one of those ones that just get helped on at the near post and flicked towards the back. But Connor Goldson met it well.
What a week of European action it is. Tomorrow, Hibernian against Aston Villa. Live here on Sportsound and BBC Radio Scotland and on Sports Scene on the BBC Scotland television channel. Then on Thursday, that of course in Conference League qualifying, Hearts take on Pauk, but in the Europa League it's Haken Aberdeen. 6 for the Dons game, 7:45 at Tynecastle. Again, coverage BBC Radio Scotland and the Hearts match live on the television as well.
Sorry, William, I'm not so sure there whether I mean the striker coming up centre back. There's a bit of maybe you can just see there it's a left arm across the throat.
Dessers on Biscali as the long ball was played up to him.
Yes, it was, and I wasn't sure if it was just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but you can see the left hand come up again from Dessers. He likes that one. He has a little look at Biscali and then just catches him on the throat.
Well, he knows the Dutch League well, Cyril Dessers. He was joint top scorer in the season that was ended because of the coronavirus pandemic. They called the season without awarding the title that term, but he was, at the time of the football being stopped, joint top scorer in Holland. Ramallo picks up in the centre circle. Side football to the left. Across the halfway line goes Biscali. Out to Noah Lang on this near side, midway inside the Rangers half, down the left-hand touchline. Biscali whips a wonderful ball in, no takers. It's picked up by Bakayoko though, and it's going to break to Sangare, who'll level this match. Smashed home by Sangare, who got PSV's first goal at Ibrox last year. It's a brilliant ball in from the left. There were no takers that time, but when it was worked back to just inside the area, there was absolutely no mistake from the Ivorian Ibrahim Sangare, who squares this Champions League playoff. Rangers 1, PSV Eindhoven 1.
Oh, what a ball in from the left, but unbelievable vision from Sabay. Watch Sabay when it comes into the box. The ball's gets shoved in the line by Noah Lang, and this is a wicked cross into the box, and when it goes right through to the other side, it's rolled back in. A little step over from Sangare. Sangare is absolutely beautiful. There's clearly information given by Sangare, and it's just dispatched with power, accuracy. It's a quite wonderful.
I hadn't actually given him the credit for that when it happened live in front of us. I hadn't spotted that he'd done the over.
That's because you've not got that in the bag, Tom.
I've not got that vision, no. But it's a phenomenal wee over for him. And when it comes out to Sangare, I mean, he's only 7 yards out. He's just got to guide it past the goalkeeper into the back of the net. How do Rangers respond to that?
Well, PSV will feel that is well deserved. They've bossed big spells of this game, and now they're back on level terms. Barisic almost caught out. Suter reads the danger and slides in, and then Raskan helps it on its way. We'll need a positive reaction to that, that's for sure. Real class from PSV Eindhoven though. The dummy from Saibari made all the difference. Here comes Sima up the other end though. Dessers wants it in the middle. Sima across, looking for Dessers. It's half away. Raskan putting the pressure on, but PSV had enough numbers in the box to be able to deal with it. It's 1-1 on 62.
Again, more positive from Sima down that left-hand side. This, again, like he did at the start of the half, driving, opening up his legs. He does have pace once he gets going. He's got a long range of stride. Puts the ball into the box. I thought for a second it was going to fall to Raskin, who'd made a late run into the box, but PSV cleared.
Here come PSV again down the right-hand side with Luke de Jong looking up at the penalty area where he'd love to be right now. The right-hand side of it, he knocks it back to Taze. Cantwell wins it back for Rangers. Good battling by Todd Cantwell over there. He turns and hooks it up the line for Sima, infield for Raskan. Raskan though caught by Veerman, and now it's Lang at the edge of the box, just popping it through to the right-hand side for Saibari, pulling it back, looking to try and find Veerman, I think. Eventually Rangers with Barisic, but he loses out to Lang. Look, he had the situation under control. Lang reversing it, back down that right-hand side touchline for Bakayoko. Back it comes to Lang at the right angle of the area, up against Barisic, low ball, looking for de Jong, sliding in Suter to put it out for a throw-in over on the far side, or might even have gone behind for the corner, in fact.
Throw, I think.
So it looked like it might have swung behind the corner flag, but it's going to be a PSV ball either way over there on the PSV right as they attack the goal to the left. It will be a throw-in only for Bakayoko.
Oh no, he's given him a corner.
He has given the corner, yeah.
Did not look like it went out at the corner. Looked at a throw to me.
Bakayoko will take. As we approach 64. In swinging corner from Bakayoko into the area, is headed away by Sima. He picked up on this near side for PSV with Serginho Dest taking on Cifuentes, driving down the left, strong against Cifuentes. It's Dest who comes out on top though, rolls it back to Saibari. As this game's gone on, has become more and more of an important figure as Cantwell comes in, makes the challenge, and out it goes for a PSV throw-in down on this near side.
Cantwell's done awfully well in terms of not on the ball tonight as much, but off the ball. He's won a lot of balls back for Rangers, or at least put PSV under severe pressure. He's working hard to close them down.
Bakayoko down the right, taking on Barisic again, gets the early ball in, sliding in Suter to block. It goes behind for a PSV corner again, right in front of that vibrant bunch of PSV fans over on that far side. All the players went over there to celebrate with the goal scorer, Sangare. It looks as though John Lundstrom's going to be on shortly for Rangers. Well, this match sitting at 1 apiece. Remains 3-0 Falkirk in League One going into the final 7 or 8 minutes. They are 3-0 against Stirling Albion in League One. 1-1 here at Ibrox. Corner for PSV, right-footed outswinger towards the penalty spot. Ramalho wins the header and it comes down into the 6-yard area and wide, with Pascalia looking to get something on it. He's away shaking his head, he's not happy, feels he should have done a bit better there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it stays Rangers 1, PSV 1.
I would agree with him. Barisic just got caught on his heels and they get flicked on. With Ramalho, Pascalia was there, he just missed it with the left boot. We've already seen it. He's got decent control in that left boot as well. He probably should score.
Tavernier finds Cantwell, heavy touch though, allows the challenge from Veerman. Break back to Goldson, swings the ball forward. Cifuentes with the control as well, couldn't find Sima though, cut out by Taze. Long ball forward, de Jong is there, but so too is Goldson. He heads it back to his goalkeeper. Here goes Suter, striding forward, rolling it to the left along the deck to Barisic. Looks up, looking to get Sima in behind again. Can he keep it in play? No, it's gone out, swung over the line. That's going to be a throw-in to PSV, and it's going to be a double change for Rangers. Rabi Matondo and John Lundstrom are going to come on for the hosts, Neil McCann.
Yeah, Sima coming off, but he might not be too happy, but he's had a couple of runs, positive runs in the second half. And outside his goal, I mean, a quite brilliant goal, he's kind of struggled in the match. So Matondo coming on will give a different threat, probably down this right side. Maybe Cantwell will play off the left now, I'd imagine. Ryan Jack coming off, he's going quiet. I know he worked back ever so well about 15 minutes ago to stop what looked like a certain goal for PSV, and Lundstrom just to give a little bit of extra solidity, and Lundstrom can also drop into the centre-back line in between the two, between Suter and Goldson as well, should he need to.
On comes Lundstrom, who had a couple of special European moments in Rangers colours, most notably that Europa League semi-final late winner against RB Leipzig, as PSV prepare to make a change and bring Goose Thiel on in just a moment. Next stoppage in play. PSV have it, it's played from one side of their box to the other, and then Dest loses out to Cifuentes, who finds Lundstrom, or Dessers looks to try and flick it into the box, but it's cut out and it's cleared. Cifuentes again on this near side, looks up, right foot cross comes in, it's cleared by PSV once again, this time through Pascali. Back towards the edge of the box for Rangers. Dessers wins it. Now Tavernier. Now Raskan loses out as he tried to knock it forward into the box. It was cut out by Taze, but here come Rangers again with Matondo. Gets the break of the ball. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. He drove towards the 6-yard area. Eventually his luck runs out and PSV get it away. Challenge from Cantwell.
It's crazy.
Cantwell's already on a yellow card as well.
I tell you what, he's got out of jail here, I think, you know.
Is the ref not going for it?
He's already on a yellow, Todd Cantwell, as PSV make the change.
I tell you, his heart must be beating. I know he slides in there.
It's a yellow card all day long, isn't it?
Yeah, the trailing left leg. Just cut. I mean, the referee.
He's been warned by the referee.
Yeah, he's done him a real favour. That is a rush of blood to the head from Cantwell.
Well, I mean, he has been rushing about and pressing ever so well tonight and putting the PSV players under pressure, but he's got to realise that he's on a yellow card now. That was a crazy, crazy challenge to make.
Goose Teal comes on, another Dutch international, 5 caps, 1 goal. Scored against Turkey in the most recent World Cup qualifiers. And he is on. Actually scored a hat-trick on his debut for PSV in the Super Cup win over Ajax last season. As he replaces the Moroccan Saibari. Game on again. Rangers, incredibly, still with their full complement. I mean, that just looked like a standard yellow card for Todd Cantwell. He's already on one. Because the VAR cannot be used for second yellows. Lundstrom loses out the edge of the box. Here's De Jong as PSV attack. Chance here for Lang, out wide left for Dest. Short ball to Lang, who's eyeing up the byline here against Tavernier. Gets him to the byline and he runs out of pitch in the end, and it was behind for the goal kick to Rangers, and it will stay 1-1 in the 70th minute of this Champions League playoff first leg.
As much as Lang's looked really dangerous tonight on the ball and his movement, you can see how sharp he is. I'm looking at end product and I've not seen that much from him. You can tell he's a very talented player, clearly, but you know, sometimes
it's brilliant from John Suter.
Yeah. Flick forward towards Matondo, attacking the PSV box, and he wins the corner off Andrew Ramalho. Really good positive play by the Welshman Matondo.
Yeah, good from him, but superb from Suter. Spoke about him in the first half, stepping in, and an exquisite little ball over the outside his right boot to release Rabbi Matondo, who's found himself into the Champions League squad ahead of Yanis Hadji. Michael Beale has been saying about he's looking quite direct, he's looking a real threat, and you can see there he's certainly got the tools. He just hasn't shown them at Rangers yet. Maybe this is his big breakthrough.
Came on against Livingston in the league game recently and made a big difference. PSV have had 8 corners. This is just Rangers' second as Tavernier digs it out, headed away by Ramalho, who gave it away in the first place. As Cantwell prods it back into his own half for Raskan. He goes back to Butland, takes a touch and takes it outside his box. Looks up with a long right foot raking ball forward towards Dessers. Dessers does win the header against Ramalho, but only for Taze to clear down that right hand side. Suter will pick it up and mop it up and put it back to his goalkeeper. And it is Butland with the right foot, clipping it out to this near side. Cifuentes with a header in field. Away by Buscali. Down the line goes Lang. Goldson read it. And
I think Goldson might have a bad one here.
Connor Goldson, who for most of his Rangers career has been injury free, but he's had injuries over the last year or two to deal with, and the two of them came together. Their clash of ankles as Lang chased the bouncing ball. Goldson came across, and two of them have ended up hurting each other.
Is that a clash of shins? Oh, I tell you what, I think Goldson just gets to the ball fractionally before Lang and absolutely crunches his own shin and knee onto Lang's and it was two very committed players going at full speed.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with either.
No, Stephen. I don't actually. No, I don't think there was any malice in there. They were both just going for it, but the actual connection, when they collided, they were going at such a pace.
I was worried for Connor Goldson's knee. I'm pleased, because sometimes you go in like that, you open the inside of the knee up.
He's holding his shin.
Yeah, right above the ankle. He catches Noah Lang in the side of the knee.
Lang's back up. He seems as though he's going to be okay. Referee just having a word with James Tavernier, the Rangers captain. Goldson being told to get off the pitch before he can come back on, as is the rule.
10 apiece. Noah Lang's off the pitch as well, isn't he?
Yeah. he's coming back on. In fact, they're both back on now. Picked up by Taze over on that far side. Leeds in the other Champions League playoff first legs tonight for Copenhagen against Rakov of Poland, and Royal Antwerp 1-0 up on AEK Athens in Belgium as PSV come forward. Slip to the left-hand side for Lang. Slip there as Goldson tried to make the challenge. He didn't even have to make the tackle.
The ball touches, I'm sure it touches his right foot as he goes to hit it with his left.
It does.
We've all done it, and then you just kick fresh air.
The fact that you're laughing at him as well, I thought was poor.
No, I've done that.
Fellow professional.
Tell me you've done that. I've done that.
I've watched you do it. I've watched you do it. No, but you called it spot on. It just catches his standing leg. I tell you, he's just about to whip it across to De Jong in the middle of the box as well.
It's 1-1 here at Ibrox, 73.5 on the clock. Long ball towards Cyril Dessers, who tries to flick on when it comes right through to the keeper. He's getting an awful hard time, Dessers.
Yeah, I mean,
so early in his Rangers career.
He didn't do too much wrong there. I mean, he was just going up for a header, didn't get any direction on it, and it goes through to the goalkeeper. But yeah, I mean, they're on his case, that's for sure.
Remember, the man who he's taken the number 9 shirt from, Antonio Cholak, started his Rangers career brilliantly, scored, of course, in both legs of this one, including the decisive goal in the tie in Eindhoven in the second leg. He started really well, and I suppose if you're coming to a big club, then you have to start well. Dessers, he's managed a couple of goals, though, in the early part of his Rangers career. As I think the foul throw is going to be given against...
He's going to give him a second chance.
I think Bakayoko's point is that it slipped out of his hands rather than it was an attempt to take the throw in. He's perhaps fortunate to get a second chance at that. Leaves it for Taze this time. Now Pascali moves it out to Serginho Dest on this left-hand side for PSV. Across the halfway he goes. Infield to Lang, back to Dest, back to Lang. Inside his own half he is to go, though. Rangers looking pretty solid, even though they've conceded in the second half. I would say over the course of the match they've kept PSV at arm's length a lot of the time, and we need to do that for the remainder of this one, and obviously next week in the Netherlands too, as Bakayoko works it back away. Sangare gives it away, and now Raskan jinking between he and Veerman. Raskan, well read by Pascali, comes to meet him. To Matondo on the far side. Down goes Pascali, and he gets the free kick out of the referee over on that far side of it, level with the edge of the centre circle, with the scoreline at 1 apiece. It's an interesting point in the tie, actually, when you think about it, looking at the second leg next week clearly, but these last 15 minutes could potentially hold the key to the Champions League groups. It's an important time as Veerman comes forward. He's found Dest inside the area, disguises the ball, and then the attack by Tail is cut out by Goldson. And Cifuentes finds Cantwell, gets it over the head of Pascali, driving forward, rolling it to the right for Dessers. He's onside. It's an early ball by Dessers. Chance for Matondo! Goal for Matondo! Goal for Rangers! And this place catches fire again! Robbie Matondo has waited over a year for this moment. He has restored the Rangers lead against the Dutch Cup winners with the coolest, calmest of finishes. Rangers 2, PSV Eindhoven 1, and Robbie Matondo has finally arrived at Ibrox.
With just what Stevie and I looked at each other, was it just offside from Dessers? I think it is, but Cantwell picks him out. But what a ball from Dessers, and a beautiful little finish from Robbie Matondo. Whether this will be allowed to stand or not, I'm not sure.
My initial reaction, Neil, watching it live, and it wasn't far in front of us, was that it was offside.
Yeah, but what a finish it is.
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, the whole play is good. Initially from Cantwell, nicking it over the defender's head, plays it out to Dessers, the first time pass across the face. Matondo with a lovely side-footed finish, but
yeah,
having said all of that,
offside, yeah.
I do think that he's off.
Oh, it's so tight,
close,
isn't it?
It is so close. I felt that Dessers just went early.
He's given it. He's given it all. The goal stands, and Robbie Matondo, who's had such a difficult time trying to make an impression here, has scored his first Rangers goal.
What
one of the biggest goals that he'll ever score comes in this Champions League playoff. and one of the biggest goals potentially of Rangers season already. They lead PSV 2-1.
Well, Liam, we spoke about it at half-time, about being able to hit the counter-attack. You need speed to hit the counter-attack. And Rabbi Matondo, another really big decision from Michael Beale to leave something on the ability of Hadji out the team into the squad in favour of Rabbi Matondo. Well, there's the rewards.
Well, first thing that springs to mind is Desser's involvement in that goal. He's come in for some criticism, but what a weight of pass it was. As Lang goes up the other end, he shoots, blocked by Goldson, and behind for the corner. Double change for both teams in a moment. PSV behind again, 12 to play of the first leg.
If Rangers can hang out these next 12-15 minutes, it's absolutely huge for them to take this lead over to what's going to be a very difficult tie next week in the Netherlands. It's just such a big goal.
Here comes the corner for PSV, headed away by Lundstrom, albeit he's headed it behind for another corner on the reverse side of the goal as the corner came from the left. Rangers are going to bring Danilo and Dowell on in just a moment. And it's going to be a corner for Bakayoko to take in front of the PSV supporters over on that far side. In-swinger with the left foot coming up here. The Rangers have their lead back after Sima and Sangare had traded goals. Matondo restores the advantage. He'd survived the tight offside VAR check. Here comes Bakayoko. The referee's not happy with something in the box though. He's just telling a couple of the players in the goal line to behave themselves. It's Pascali and Barisic. Here comes the corner for PSV. Bent into the area. De Jong's header! Goal! 2-2. Luke De Jong, arms outstretched, celebrates in front of the PSV supporters. Rangers were 2-1 up for just a couple of minutes from the set play. Bakayoko onto the head of De Jong, who bullets it past Butland. And it's Rangers 2, PSV 2 as we approach the final 10.
Well, if there's one man you don't want to leave slightly unmarked in the box, it's Luke De Jong. There was so much jostling going on in the middle of the box around about the penalty spot. De Jong John Suter just gets slightly underneath it. In fact, he gets a nick which takes it onto, I think, De Jong's head and puts it into the far corner.
The thing is, he's in a wrestling match and he's just making himself really big and strong and trying so hard to stop De Jong getting across the front of him, and actually in doing so catches himself under the ball, Stevie. And that allows De Jong just to get his head on it. I mean, that's a hammer blow. I've not enjoyed the lead enough to take the sting out of the PSV side, but it just shows you, I mean, De Jong is such a threat in the box. It's a wicked corner as well, I have to say.
Yeah, the delivery was very
in-swinger,
good.
left-footed, really dangerous.
Dest and Lang have come off to be replaced by young Dutchman Sherandi Sambo and Jorn Vertesen, a Belgian under-21 international who can play right across the front. He's come on for Lang on the left-hand side. Veerman will take a throw in here, so 9 minutes left of this first leg. Throw-in's taken into the box for De Jong, comes back to Vertesen's good play, and then a chance here for Bakayoko to have a swing at it, but it's blocked. Still an opportunity here for PSV. Vertesen after it, Rangers clear. And we're back to where we were at the end of the first leg last year. 2 apiece it was in Glasgow. The PSV have a 100% record so far this season, looking to preserve that. Pascali shifts it to the right of the centre circle. It wasn't long before the Matondo goal when I said the last 15 minutes you're looking at could potentially hold the key to this tie. Well, there's been 2 goals since then. We're back to where the scoreline is different, but we're back to the situation where it's all square. And as Pascali picks up on this near side and turns it back to Ramalho, he'll go back to his goalkeeper. Rangers' lead lasted just shy of 4 minutes, the second lead. Header won by Suter in the centre circle, but the referee didn't like his challenge on Luke De Jong, whose goal has hauled PSV back on terms for a second time, and John Suter's been yellow carded as well. And he is the 4th Ranger to go into the book tonight.
Yeah, there's nothing in that for me.
Eyes on the ball,
there's
isn't he?
Nothing in that. John Souttar goes up and wins the ball cleanly. You're not telling me it's the first time De Jong's been caught once or twice by a centre-half.
He's such a good striker though, isn't he, De Jong?
Yeah, I mean,
he really
is. He is. I mean, he's for somebody his size, his link-up play and his intelligence and his kind of quickness of mind round about the box are excellent. Of course, he's a good goal scorer as well, but for me, there's nothing in that. Absolutely not.
He was involved in 28 goals last season, Luke De Jong. He scored 18 of them himself, set up the other 10, and that's him now, having scored that one, on to 5 for the season as the long ball comes forward, but evades the two PSV players who were going after it there, Thiel and De Jong, and it's right through with Jack Butland. 7 minutes of the 90 left. 2 apiece. Lundstrom to Tavernier, up the line to Dowell. First time to Lundstrom, does well into Cantwell. Can he slip it through to Danilo? Not quite. Back from Romalo to his goalkeeper. Danilo, who replaced Dessers. Dowell came on as well to replace Cifuentes. Bierman, the edge of the centre circle, rolls it to the right for Taze, down that right hand side for Bakayoko. Thiel at close quarters. Turns back, facing his own goal, and passes it back to Taze, in field to Sangare. Now with Gush Thiel. And then Sangare to Veerman. And then to Romalo in the centre circle for Boscali. Out to this near side for Sambo. He's going to get it back here from Vertesen. Sambo into the box, rolls it across. Chance for Bakayoko. Rolls it back to Sangare just outside the area. To the right-hand side. Thiel smashing it across. Blocked by Barisic. Picked up by Danilo. Runs into Romalo though. PSV have it back on 84. Here's Sangare down the right-hand side up against Raskan. He's got the cross in. Headed away by Souttar. Rangers are going to bring Sam Lammers on in a moment as they try and dig this out, but PSV come again. Romalo. Short ball to Bakayoko. Now it's Veerman. Rolls it to the right-hand side for Thiel. To the overlap. And the cross comes in, headed away by Souttar. Good play again by PSV Eindhoven. This is some proper pressure they're putting on Rangers here. Cantwell goes down, Danilo turns and finds Lundstrom back towards his own box. Clipped out to the left for Matondo, but it was into touch for a throw-in to PSV, and Sam Lammers is going to come on here for Rangers, and Cantwell will come off.
Yeah, it's probably the right decision, knowing that Cantwell's on that booking. They can't afford to have him missing. He's been allowed probably one, definitely, if not 2 close decisions by the referees. Put an absolute power of work in tonight, as Todd Cantwell. He really has. Maybe not been as effective on the ball tonight, although he was heavily involved in that second goal, but he really has worked his socks off.
How are you reading these last 5 minutes plus stoppages, Neil?
I think Rangers are going to have to weather the storm. PSV they've made their own substitutions. They're slick, they're moving it around.
Do they settle for a 2-2 now then?
No, Rangers, you mean?
Yeah,
I think a 2-2 wouldn't be a bad result, you know, to take over to Eindhoven. I think this PSV team will go for it. I think they'll try and take a lead back to the Netherlands, but I was sort of looking at myself there and thinking Danilo's got some of the treatment that Dessers has got.
Yeah.
Two have bounced off him and he looks a little bit shy all of a sudden. They need him big because he's the spearhead so far. If the ball comes up to him, the little man needs to secure it and start eating the ground up to get Rangers out. They don't want to be camped for the final 5 minutes.
Here is John Lundstrom for Rangers. Back to Souttar. He was caught there, surely. Yeah, Vertesen with the foul. That's a free kick to Rangers, and it's the first yellow card for a PSV player. And it is Jorbe Vertesen who's booked with a scoreline at 2 apiece. Finally poised, as it was 12 months ago. Rangers went out to Eindhoven and won 1-0 to end a 12-year-long wait for Champions League group stage football. Can they repeat the trick this time around? It is Rangers clearing through Connor Goldson. To that left, Matondo giving chase. Looking for space. Winning the throw-in. That's gone out of play on the far side for PSV. There's going to be days to take. Incidentally, finished Falkirk 3, Stirling Albion 0 in League One tonight. Rearranged because the Beanos were up against Aberdeen in the League Cup last Friday. 87.5 on the clock here in the Champions League playoff. Rangers 2, PSV 2. Tavernier comes forward. Clip ball, looking for Lammers. Lovely spin and turn. Shoots, block. Danilo on the follow-up, but it's gone wide with a deflection. What a chance for Danilo, who missed that incredible opportunity in Geneva last week. And that is a huge chance. Michael Beale down there, the look of frustration on his face is there for all to see.
Just put it high. Just put it high.
Even if the defender doesn't block it, the goalkeeper's saving it. You're right, you've got to get your foot through that and lift it.
Just smash it into the roof. I'm just thinking, just smash that high because they're on their deck.
Well, Lammers hits the shot, the goalkeeper makes a right mess of the save. It was an easy save to make. He kind of pads it out right to the feet of Danilo, who takes a good first touch. At that point, he's what, 2.5 yards out, 3 yards out, swivel and hit that high into the roof of the net, and Rangers probably go on to win the game. Massive chance.
Ramalho is down with cramp inside his own box here as Rangers prepare to take their third corner of the evening as we approach the 90th minute.
There's a really good spot from James Tavernier, takes a good touch, sees a vision or gets vision of Lammers just getting into the box, and the big fella took a nice one, didn't he? And then it was, as you said, Tom, it wasn't a brilliant shot across Benitez, but Danilo could have made himself a massive hero there.
They're going to bring on, PSV are going to bring on Yerdy Schouten, defensive midfield player, who was in the same midfield as Lewis Ferguson at Bologna last term. One of the new summer signings they've spent big money on. And he's going to come on now. By the looks of things, he's going to replace Pascali. And double change, in fact, for PSV. They bring on Isaac Babadi, Dutch under-18 international. He's a PSV Academy graduate, with his debut actually in their Super Cup win over Feyenoord at the start of the season. But, they are going to come on now. Sometimes you wait, you know, a defensive team will wait until the set play's been taken, but
yeah, and you're bringing off a 6-foot-plus player for Babadi, who's about 5 foot, so it could affect things.
A little bit taller than 5 foot.
You check that height on Wikipedia, Tomo, before you said that. That's a bit.
6 minutes of stoppage time have been added. 2 apiece.
Have you got his height there? No.
Rangers corner, Tavernier sweeps it in, Goldson attacking it, it's away by Schouten, who's just on. Now PSV look to hit in the counter, Vertesen gives chase, Raskan's there, and he boots it out into touch on this near side, and it stays Rangers 2, PSV Eindhoven 2.
Just about all Raskan could do there. He was under pressure. Just clear your lines.
Throw in to be taken on this near side. Bold forward by Sambo. Looking for Vertesen. Suter gets in the way. Away it goes for Rangers into the PSV half. Danilo beaten to it by Sangare. Here's Lammers on this near side. It's up in the air, spending a lot of time in the sky at the moment. Drops down to Raskan. Beats it forward to Lundstrom. Was he caught? Referee tells Lundstrom to get back to his feet. Tavernier playing it forward for Dowell. Dowell's not going to get there. Samuel gets there first and clears with the left peg. Lundstrom's underneath it for the header. We played one of the 6 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first leg here. 2 apiece, as it was at full time after the first leg at Ibrox a year ago. It's been a topsy-turvy game. Twice Rangers have led. Twice they've been pegged back. Lammers for Rangers. Foul though. Free kick PSV. Midway inside their own half. And Lammers almost getting involved there with the man who he was embroiled with there, Veerman. The free kick has been given. There's a PSV ball.
Just got a wee bit scrappy the last 5 or so minutes.
Probably suits Rangers really, because PSV were knocking it about. Perhaps the changes haven't helped their rhythm. Lammers picks up and rolls it out to the left for Barisic. Down the left-hand side for Matondo. Matondo testing the pace of the defender. Right-hand side of the box is brilliant from Matondo. His efforts blocked. It almost came back to Lundstrom. He's going to slide in to try and win it back for Rangers. He's done well. Teal was after it. Goldson's header finds Raskan out wide left. Barisic. Raskan continues his run. Out it goes for another Rangers throw. Taken quickly. Rangers smell blood here. Matondo with the up and under into the box, headed behind for the corner. Is there a winner in it for Rangers here?
There's been an element of tempo raised by Rangers in the last couple of minutes. Matondo done really well on that left side. Just cutting inside the box.
He's definitely added something, Matondo. I mean, obviously he's scored a goal, but I think just in terms of his pace frightens defenders, and he's very, very direct when he runs at them. Sometimes he gets his head down and gets lost a wee bit, but he puts panic into defenders.
He took his goal really well. A great ball to him by Cyril Dessers as well. The weight of pass was perfect. Now then, 3 out of the 6 of stoppage time have been played. Barisic with the corner into the back post, headed towards his own goal there by Sangari, I think it was. Souttar's claiming he was barged to the deck there inside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, did he get a barge in the back here by De Jong? Watch here, the hands across him.
Nah,
nothing in it for me, no.
Not enough.
No.
He's made the most of it. He's still appealing to Clement Tarpan, the referee, and he's already been booked, so he probably wants to be a little bit canny there. In comes the corner from Barisic, headed away by Sangari. Matondo,
it's not back.
So close from Rabbi Matondo, who caught it flush on the volley at the edge of the D, and that's just gone over the crossbar. What an effort it was, but it's just gone slightly wide as well. But it stays Rangers 2, PSV 2, 4 minutes into stoppage time. 6 were added.
He's flushed that. He's absolutely, I got a bit excited. He's absolutely flushed that. As a foot wide of the post. The trajectory perfect. That was right in the postage stamp there.
Header forward, Danilo putting the pressure on. Sangari gets there first though and clears with the right foot. Rangers who are finishing the game strongest here. Coming close a couple of times, Danilo, and then Matondo there as they try and take a lead to the Netherlands next week.
It's the first time in the game that you felt that PSV look a wee bit uncomfortable, or really uncomfortable. This last 5 minutes have been brilliant from Rangers.
Yeah, I think, Liam, you're absolutely on the money. They've made changes and I don't think it's helped them. It's knocked the rhythm out their game.
Here's Lundstrom for Rangers, out to this near side, low ball Tavernier, his cross cut out by Vertesen. Throw in Rangers, level with the PSV 18-yard line. We're into the final minute of stoppage time. 2-2. Tavernier takes the throw in, Dowell hits it, but it's poor and he slices it badly wide. And it will be Rangers 2, PSV 2, and not much more time of the minutes that were added on by the French referee are left. There might be a little bit more on top because the subs made just the start of the stoppages. But it's looking very like deja vu here, guys.
It certainly is, Liam. Yeah, and on the face of it, I think Rangers have finished a stronger team, but taking a 2-each draw over there, if they can replicate these last 10 minutes over in Eindhoven, then
not over yet.
A chance.
Yeah, not over yet. Here's Babadi, he's not long on, attacking on that right-hand side, squeezing it into Veerman. Now Bakayoko leaves it for Babadi. He's trying to get back onto it, but the French referee has seen enough. As Michael Beale and Peter Bosch exchange handshakes down below us, the two managers. A thrilling night here at Ibrox. New managers, but the same scoreline between the same clubs as the playoff meeting last season. And a real thriller, PSV dominating for big spells in the game, particularly in that first half. Rangers couldn't really get going, but they led at the break. Abdallah Sima with an outstanding goal just before the break, final minute of the opening 45. He sent a rocket into the top right corner. It's a fabulous goal. Both Rangers goals were of the highest quality tonight, and that one from Sima gave Rangers the boost they needed at the interval after PSV, albeit they had lots of the ball, lots of corners, only threatened Jack Butland's goal a couple of times. Then into the second half, things really kicked off. The equaliser coming for PSV Eindhoven as Rangers were looking for another one. The equaliser from Sangari, who got the first for them here in the first leg last year, just beyond the hour mark as he smashed home after good work down the right-hand side. The dummy from Sangare latched onto it and hammered it home to make it one apiece before Rabi Matondo's first Rangers goal came in a Champions League playoff here at a jam-packed Ibrox. There were 14 minutes left. Cyril Dessers rolled it through to him, right-hand side to the left for Matondo, and he calmly hit it into the bottom right corner. It was another brilliant goal, and Rabi Matondo's first real proper moment in a Rangers shirt arrived at that point. But the second lead lasted less than the first. Just 4 minutes later, Luuk de Jong, the big number 9, the PSV skipper, heading home from the corner to bring the Dutch Cup winners level for a second time on the night, with Rangers going close a couple of times late on through Danilo and Matondo again. So he hit a screamer from the edge of the box, high and wide. Wasn't too far away, and it would have been quite the finale had that one been on point. So it was 2-2 at Ibrox after the first leg last year. It's 2-2 after the first leg this year. This Champions League playoff tie is on a knife edge yet again. It finished here with a return a week tomorrow in the Netherlands. Rangers 2, PSV Eindhoven 2.
Rangers.